Hi, thanks for joining me for another tutorial in Melinda's Rubber Room. I'm Melinda Pierce and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to show you how to do this fun front pocket fold card. So I'm going to put you down to my work surface and get right to it. So this is a card that we did at my Zoom session on Wednesday. This is a free Zoom session that I offer Wednesday mornings from 10 a.m. to noon Pacific time. You're welcome to join us. You can find all the information for my upcoming Zoom session at Melinda's Rubber Room on Facebook. I provide all of the measurements ahead of time so you can do the project with us. Feel free just to join us and watch if you'd like to, or you can make the card along with us. You can also do other crafts at the same time too. If you don't want to make a card, if you have something else that you're in the process of making and you want to work on, feel free to do that too. It's just a fun time to get together and craft together. Okay, so the card starts with a 8.5 by a 5.5 piece of cardstock. Let me dump all my pieces out here. So I do sell the kits to make the cards as well. So if you don't have all the supplies at home, or you just find it easier for somebody else to provide the supplies for you, you can order the kit and I'll send that out to you. So like I said, you're going to start with an 8.5 by a 5.5 piece of cardstock, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And you're going to make a tick mark. You're just going to take your ruler and make a tick mark at 2 3/4. That's the center of the card here. And then you're going to measure up 2 3/4 on each side. And I've already done that. I've made my little tick marks. So then what you're going to do is you can either put this into your trimmer, and this light blade is my scoring blade. So I can put this in my trimmer, line up those tick marks just like that, close this down and score that diagonal line. Or if you want to, you can just do it manually. Just kind of put your fingernail right at that tick mark and right down at this tick mark and fold that in. And then take your bone folder and make sure that fold is nice and secure. And that creates your flap. So I'm going to just put a piece of tape, just regular tape, right in the center here to hold that flap together. And that's going to be covered up with one of my designer series papers. Okay, so that creates the base of the card, and the rest of it is really just decorating the card. So I'm going to start with my inside piece. This is a white piece that measures 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and I'm just going to stamp a greeting on that. I am running low on Get Well cards, so I'm going to be making Get Well cards for a few weeks. But what's nice is you can use this for any type of card you want. Just put your own greeting on it. So I'm just going to put Feel Better Friend right here up at this top. And I'm using the same ink as my cardstock, which is Orchid Oasis from Stampin' Up. And then I have my designer series paper here. The paper that I'm using is from Wonderful World. I've shown this the last few videos. This is free paper that you can get along with the corresponding stamp set. You can get those for free with a $100 purchase from Stampin' Up! Right now. That's through the end of this month. So if you're interested, go ahead and place your order as soon as possible. Again, you get a stack of 12 by 12 paper along with your stamp set that coordinates with it. And the paper is just gorgeous. You can see some of those right there. All right, so I have my piece of designer series paper that measures 5 1/4 by 2, and then I have this trim piece that measures 5 1/4 by 3 3/4 roughly. What I've done is I've put my strip of trim through my die cutting machine using a die from the Hand Pen Petals, which is the stamp set that I used for that Feel Better Friend stamp as well. And it comes with all of these dies, but this is the die that I used to create my scalloped edge for my trim piece. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and attach my trim piece to my designer series paper. So I'm just going to put a line of glue right there at the edge. And I created my trim piece a little bit longer than I needed it to be, just so that I could be sure that I can center those scallops. Whoops. Center those scallops right along the edge there. And this, the die that I used actually has a little stitching line too, which is nice because it can help you make sure that your piece is nice and centered as far as going up and down. So you can see that little bit of trim, little stitching right there on that die cut. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut this excess off. And then this is going to go on the inside of my card. So right on top of that white piece that I just stamped on. Just like so. And this is going to go on the inside of my card. I just love those little flowers on this DSP. They're just so cheery. That's just going to get centered right there. If you would like to place an order to get that designer series paper and the stamp set for free, you can do so on my online store at melindapierce.stampinup.net. Okay, this is another piece of designer series paper from that same pack. This started as a 3.5 by 3.5 inch square, and I cut it on a diagonal. So I'm just going to put that right there. You can see all those little flowers on this side of the DSP. I actually cut some of those out for on top of my card as well. Just did a lot of fussy cutting. Okay, and now I have a white piece. This measured 2.5 by 2.5, and I just cut it on a diagonal. And I'm going to stamp Thinking of You on that. Just right across the top, like so. And that's going to be attached to the front. So, okay, now I have a rose here that I haven't fussy cut yet. I'm going to put that right down here, but I wanted to go over fussy cutting a little bit. Some people get frustrated with it, and I just wanted to show you a few tricks. First of all, you need a really sharp scissor. Stampin' Up snips are great for this. And what you want to do is hold your scissors straight and move your card or your designer series paper that you're cutting. So you'll notice that my scissor has very little motion to it other than moving the blades up and down, but they're not moving on the paper themselves. I'm rotating the paper to where I want the scissor to go. And this technique makes a huge difference with how your fussy cutting turns out, and it really isn't that difficult to do. You'll notice that a lot of times I'll just cut off the excess paper right away instead of having it all one piece. Like right there. I just find it easier that way to get around some of those corners and to get some cleaner cuts. And I do like to cut off as much of the excess white as I can. If you're mounting this onto a white piece of cardstock, which I am actually doing, I don't need to be too particular about it because the white tends to blend in with the white that's underneath it. So kind of keep that in mind too. You don't have to cut off as much as you would normally. So you can see some of that excess white that I left on there doesn't really show. So I'm just going to go ahead and take some glue and put this flower down on the front. Just like so. Then I have a whole bunch of other flowers that I've cut out here. And some of these, you'll note, have a straight cut on them already. And that is just from cutting them off of the Designer Series paper. And this happened to be at the top of the Designer Series paper, so it already has a straight edge. So this is a great way to use those pieces because I'm just going to put it right up there at the top. And then I have one over here that has a straight top as well. So don't overlook those pieces. Those can always be used. I'm going to go ahead and glue those on. Those are my main pieces. And then I'm just going to fill in with some of the little ones. And I want to get this closer to the side so that that straight cut on the leaf is straight as well. Okay, that works. So you actually don't have to glue this this pocket closed. You can just have all of your flowers on the inside of it. And that way you could actually use this pocket to insert like a tea bag if you're giving it as a get well card. You could put a gift card in there or something like that. Any little thing to cheer up somebody's day is always nice. I'll just put that one right down there. That's a good place for it. If you have the little space right there with where the arrow comes together, you can always plan putting a flower there just to cover that up. You could always have one go down like that and cover up a little gap that you might have. I think I'm going to do that just because I like having some more flowers come up front. So I think I'll strategically place it like that and just snip off some of those extra stems. Just like that. Got a little rose here I can stick in here. So obviously this is all unique to everybody who does their own card, which is actually one of the fun things about my Zoom classes. Everybody's card turns out differently. I had one gal do a Christmas card this past week, which was really cute. She put little ornaments on the inside of her pocket. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to maybe snip this part off here. Again, all these flowers were fussy cut from that Designer Series paper that I got for free. So you can just use it on its own as Designer Series paper, or you can get hundreds of flowers that you can do whatever you want with. Okay, that works there. So I'm just going to stick some glue under here to hold it in place. I want to make sure I don't put anything over that fold, or it's going to get squashed when I put it into my envelope. I'll squeeze that little piece in there. Okay, and there is my completed card. All right, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial and learned something new. Feel free to join us again on Facebook on Wednesday mornings from 10 a.m. to noon. All the information is on my Facebook page on Melinda's Rubber Room. All right, hope you enjoyed the tutorial and have a great day. Bye-bye.